Good morning. Mark Donegan, self-healing practitioner, educator, October 13th. It's very early, and I live in a strange situation, so I'm talking low as possible. Anyways, um, it is 6:06 a.m., and I don't have good lighting for my good camera, so I'm just going to loop it down here onto the floor where I'm working out on the tennis balls, and I have been for a while, just to give you that. But why I'm jumping on here at 6:06 in the morning is that um, tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, Alexis is doing her activation from 6 to 6:30, as she normally does when she does an activation. That seems to be the usual time, and so I have gotten into the habit of, and I already was, but from 6 to 6:30, doing my movement. And then not only that, I wanted to say when I'm jumping on here, when I do these activations with Alexis at 6 to 6:30, as I was saying, I don't like going into them cold, so I will start my preps usually around 5, no later than 5:30, because I want a half hour prep before I go into her thing. Um, and then usually after her thing, I do some more because that's what her thing's meant to do, is to wake you up into your day and into your movement routine. So, anyways, yeah, Alexis is having a very professional, high end, highest high end half hour meditation guided stuff on Thursday morning. So you really should do that. It's free. This stuff kind of costs hundreds of dollars, and I also recommend you do Alter. Alter is a program that she's doing next month, which does these activations. You get to do these activations, and I think some more stuff. So sign up for Alter and tell her that there's scholarships and stuff available if you can't afford the full ticket, because it is extremely expensive. We're talking hundreds, if thousands of dollars. So in the end, if you're going to hang with Alexis and do these types of things to take care of yourself. So, anyways, yeah, we cost money, and I don't getting me for free. So that's why you get poor production. Alexis doesn't waste a second of her time on the internet. She just doesn't waste a second of her time. It's part of her program. Down here in my little dogly world and program, which is the floor of it. What can you see? There's my tennis balls. Do. Well, good enough. Get the string out the way. Oh yeah, you can see a little bit from me. All right. People don't like getting on the floor because they don't know how when they're injured. Like, normally if I was healthy, I would just flop back on the floor, but I'm not. So I automatically went to one side, put an arm over here, and I pay careful attention to how I move and how other people move. But your workouts should be on the damn floor, on the ground, 1/3 or 1/4. And now I'm adopting walking into my laying, sitting, standing balance. Have balance in all of your workouts. So, anyways, I actually, yeah, I'm trying to get more time on the ground. But the tennis balls, one on each side of your spine, I often just use one because I'm really focused on what I do. And what I do is absolute bone grinding and spinal cord move grinding. They just grinding. The noise that I hear in my brain and in the adjustments and popping, but the grinding I want to explain, because you can actually hear it in your head. And what it is, and all the physical therapists are doing it now, whether it's like thoracic spine and they got me twisting back and forth, which in the brain, you hear grinding, you hear, right? So they got me doing that in my middle spine, And then I have this other physical therapist that has me doing these arm stretchy thingies where you go, and it's called nerve flossing. They actually have a technical name for it. It's called nerve flossing. And when you move your nerve, your spinal cord back and forth, or your nerve, a particular nerve back and forth, if there's adhesions along that nerve to the muscles, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to image it in your mind, you're going to hear those things break. You're going to hear those. and yeah, a certain amount's going to break free, and you're going to get a certain amount of inflammation. And that's something you need to keep in your mind. I do, because I have an inflammatory process, and every day my body's inflamed to a certain degree. And then here I go laying on the floor, inflaming it to a certain degree. So for me, it's a trade-off. So I'm really careful about how much of this I do, and I want it focused mainly for me up here, and for anyone, really. This is where you want it. And you want to do your whole spine, but you're going to spend a lot more time up here, and I'm going to show you. It's cold. That's why I have a sweater on. But I do have a heater on, so I'll take my shirt off so we can get a better view of how this is done. You just be careful when you're on the dang balls. Right? There I go. And then you relax onto them, and you just breathe. And then I lifted my tail weight up. And then I can roll with more control, because that's what you want. You don't want the balls rolling over your bones in a harsh way. Absolutely not. Disclaimer: all this has to be careful. And it's not necessarily doctor recommended, especially if you're popping and grinding. They don't, different opinions on that. Okay, see, interlocking your fingers, pressing the palms outward, it's like an automatic thing for me. While the balls are back behind the scapula, doing circles and breathing. And I'm just going to move back and forth. And I take my legs. You can't see, but I'm bringing my legs over too, because this is preparatory to rolling back and forth with your palms out, where your legs coming across. You see my leg there? And I bring my head too and look that way. This is just general stretch and stuff, but with the balls back there, which makes it more. Okay, the balls are sort of done right there up high, so move them down. There we go. And with the shirt and with the carpet, it helps keep the balls in the right place that you're working. And as soon as you put your arms back like me, this arm doesn't go back there. So there's a lot of tension back on this one. And see, it should be laying flat, and I'm not. That's tension. So it just takes time to breathe and relax and move. And eventually that tension will relax out. It's how much time. Time in is time out. You see my chest sticking up, what it should, and it should relax down. Something I'll work on with my breath. And just ease into these balls while I'm doing my other stretches, moving my hands, my feet, my toes. Crossing my hips, crossing my arms, getting the first movements in of cross. Because every day you want to think in your elements: front, back, side, crossing, circles, when you're standing anyways. Okay, so those balls are still there. I've just been working. Now I'm going to consciously move them down again. I'm trying to do this so you can see on the camera. Oh, you can't. There you go. See, I just rolled on them. And what I'm rolling on is paraspinal muscles on both sides. And see, I'm automatically bringing my knees up. It gets the pressure up onto them, even the balls even more. And just breathing. It's kind of hard on the neck, but I have so much fusion that my neck kind of holds itself, and I'm careful about it because I'm also working it. I woke up with some numbness in my right arm, and that's why I'm spending so much time on the upper body and heavily with these balls because I can feel the spot right now. It's shutting off my right arm. It has nothing to do with my neck. It's down in my thoracic. It's a combination of me. They're both holding hands, cutting off feeling of this arm this morning. So that's why I'm working these balls. I work these balls like this every day, heavy. But yeah, I'm going to go all the way down the spine, and the balls are moving around by themselves now. But I try to keep track and do a good slow movement all the way down, as you can see right there, all the way down the lumbar. And then, its legs. This is important down the lumbar when you're going one vertebrae at a time. See? And you want to get the balls all the way down one vertebrae at a time. Oh, I got some bad stuff going there. And just relax, let's breathe, open up the leg, open up the nerve directly. You want that ball directly on the nerve and the vertebrae like I'm doing right there. See that? That's how you open up your hips. Because I haven't got to my hip yet. I'm doing the low back. Now I'm going to roll it down onto my hip. And this can actually be really painful if you're not careful and you've got tight hips. But I'm pushing my muscle and my fascia against my hip bone. I do this pretty much every day. Well, I do. I check my hips every day. This hip joint needs to be loose in there. That tissue needs to be loose. I can't see it because I'm not far enough out. Right there. Get this other ball. Well, just working one side. And you just roll up onto it. Open up the hip. Hit the inner hip. Get the inner hip loose. Hit my other inner hip. The inner hips are very important to get loose. But the main thing is loosening is this, because your backside's all tight, right? That's mine and yours. Anyways, I'm using gravity and my body weight, boom, up on that ball, on that hip. So that tissue, as long as you don't damage it, and I don't damage it, it's going to loosen as long as I stay pressure on it and breathe. I try to spend at least an hour a day doing this. I think I get about 2, and some days 3 on the balls. That's a good day. For me, it's a have to. It's not a want to. I can get away not doing it and going and working one day, but not 2 days. Now I'm rotating back up, as you see, because I got sore low back. So I'm using one ball to keep focus on that left low back. Oh, man, I just had a heck of releases. I mean, if you were here in my body, you would hear a popcorn machine. Everything I do is with intent. When it isn't, I get hurt. There's the ball. I'm going to move back up. What I'm moving to is my thoracic that wraps around and gets my stomach. So if I have another surgery, this is where it's going to be at, right there. That's why I want to be on it, twisted. Now, bring this weight over, right? Now I bring this weight back onto it. Oh my gosh. And that's dropping my rib cage down onto that tennis ball, but at my spine. That's just torque. It's just torque. There, and see my rib cage, it released and it just moved right around the ball. It did what it should have done. And I noticed that last night about that surgery spot. I did it in bed. I did this movement in bed without the tennis ball, and I got it released right where it shuts off my breathing. I just breathe into that pain. So I'm used to it. I know that pain. It's mine. Now I'm going to move a little higher and try to get even higher up on the rib cage, but in towards the spine, right? Yeah, I didn't figure it was going to move, but at least putting the pressure there helps. See, and it feels good. That's the main thing. It feels good. It's relieving the pain from the vertebrae below that I was just on that is painful. And I'm going to slide back to you right now. There, I got it. It's like, that's the painful one. That's how you work. Now, we're going to work the other side. Come back. Again, you go where you need to go, where you feel the tension, where you can't lay flat immediately. And you just keep working, trying to flatten your entire spine. That middle back, I think, again, for anyone, it doesn't matter that I'm injured there. Anyone, their middle back is going to be a place they need to work and sit on and put those balls just like I'm doing, and then focus your body weight just like I'm doing. Just doing different movements. I'm at the place now. I'm just fooling around. So I'm bringing those balls back up high. I want to finish off just by making sure I'm as good as I can be in my neck area. Yeah, well, I could sit and grind now for a long time. So, those stretches and the ball. I'm not even, again, working on the floor is important. I guess you can't see because of my camera angle. I got my hurdler stretchy thing, and I'm grabbing my foot, grabbing my other foot, doing some beating, beat on that foot, beat on that foot. Roll that leg. The main thing is the ball. Ooh, and my other foot. When I switch sides. But I got the balls on both sides. I actually got it. It's funny what you can do once you start working on it. Again, I've been doing these hurler stretchy positions since I was, oh heck, probably 7, 8 years old, watching the older kids are doing it. Well, for sure. Gosh, I don't even know. I was indoctrinated so young. Yeah, it's crazy how we get indoctrinated. And crazy how after all these years I have to use the same, like I said, stretch for the body. It didn't change. Oh, and it still hurts and it's painful. And take the knee the other way. Yeah, you can't escape some of that stuff. Hurdler stretch is definitely one of them. The other way. And on the one side, when you're moving around, roll with it, baby. Okay, now get the balls in there. The other hip. And this one too. Best I can. That's the kind of thing, just, floating around, see how you balance. Do circles. But you gotta hold the toe. And, see how far down your knee you can come. Looking down at your knee and both looking up, just like a hurdler would do. That's what they call a hurdler stretch. I mean, Yeah, I didn't run the hurdles. My older brother did, but I guess because of that, I understood the concept of when you're in this position, why you're in this position, and it really does come from the hurdler thing. But it also, for me, I have football training and a little martial arts and formal training, and both. It's about having your being able to get your hip and your leg up, and when you're in this position, you're only 50% up. Your leg's only 50%. So if you can't do this, you you're not even able to do to begin some of the other movements. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can't do this, you can't bring your foot above your hip when you're standing in a kick, because that's all this is until you start bending this way. Then that gives you the ability to bring your foot up a little higher when you're standing. Um, and yeah, I actually don't. I don't have a bar, but I have learned because I love the idea of the bar, how to use my sink to get my foot up there now that I'm limber enough and stable enough. And I've learned how to prop myself against my stove and my fridge if I fall and to hold myself. But anyways, I can get my foot up on my sink for a bar and I can lean down into it. And that's really helpful because it gives the supporting leg the opportunity to strengthen itself. And a lot of the balancing stuff that I've been doing lately, still doing it. Because I like getting on the one foot, crossing them over, balancing them, see which one's side. Because, yeah, one side's definitely not as strong as the other. And so when you're balancing on one side or the other, whether it's strong or weak, it's strengthening that side because you're wobbling around and your muscles are getting worked out. So I'm beating on this thigh with my knuckles. One of my deportment moves, by the way. Inner thighs always, man. Tight, tight, tight. And I got walking to do today. So that's about it. I'm going to lean back into this, cross it over. Take it. See, this knee's getting that good stretch, or this, all of it, that leg, especially the thigh here. And the knee, if your knee's not prepared for it, this is not a good stretch. Same for the ankle and toes. My toes are even having a difficult problem right now. But I'm going to get off them by leaning into this stretch, taking this other leg up, and then boom, into it. And that really, anytime you can fold over, I'm learning from the yoga moves, you can really extend your stretch. I just careful. I don't want to be too, you can get too stretched out in the wrong joints. You want to have balance. So that's about it today. I just wanted to give you an idea. It's been 23 minutes. And I was on them for a long time before, and I'm going to be on them a long time after. But that's how you work them up and down the spine. And you get in the middle back. You want to get up, lift your neck and get up on your heels and get your weight up onto it. Same when you're up on the shoulders. Get up on your heels and get your weight up onto it. You should always be able to take the weight of a tennis ball up and down your paraspinals. And I'm not because of my injuries. And that's why I'm telling you, you should be able to. And like this arm here it's not completely released now, but I can feel it again. And I sort of couldn't about 30 minutes ago. I had it going by the time I got on here. That's why I got on here. It's powerful stuff, but you have to be careful. Disclaimer, it's a lot of pressure. You can get injured. It's about stability and ease and feeling your pain and staying within your good range, especially with your pain. And for me, this is the last heavy disclaimer. You can't feel what's going on in my body when I'm doing this. I'm going for a good feeling all the time, and that's what takes years to learn how to go for, because it's memory. You have a memory of it feeling good, and you build that memory by daily making it feel good. by massaging it with just the right amount of pressure that nobody else can do but you. And that's why these are so important. And yeah, I'm totally going to be pushing this in my work where I'm going to be using these on people, moving their bodies over them, and not giving them any choice but to understand what I'm talking about. That's where I'm going in my world. Woo-hoo. I don't know where everybody else is going. Yeah, I got things to do.